the least pressure on him. Because, like you said, no one's giving him a chance in this, and it's not his sport. There's no pressure on him in this. He's getting a boatload of cash for it, and if he shocks the world, because I absolutely believe there's an Irish guy in a dressing room in Las Vegas right now that's sitting there cool as a cucumber like, I'm going to beat this guy. I don't think there's any doubt in his mind, whether he's right or wrong. I think he absolutely believes that he's going to do it.
Well, we want to know from you guys who are watching this, 20,000 people already watching the stream.
Hashtag the knockout.
Hashtag the knockout. It's hashtag the knockout today.
Tweet us on Twitter. We're going to be showing your tweets on the stream as well, so you can get involved.
Tonight is to get this trending. We want to get trending.
I don't think it's difficult with 20,000 people.
The night.
Sorry, Boltwood's got it. Boltwood sent it. How many followers you got?
Just 5,000.
5,000 is pretty good. To be fair, being around Spencer does wonders for you.
I've got
credit.
Don't you worry.
So anyway, the knockout on Twitter. Get live on that. It is exciting because you, of course, can join in the conversation. We can pose your questions to anyone on the panel here. We've got some guys who really know their stuff.
For me personally,
and Adam Bolt.
Yeah, thank you.
I've watched Mayweather obviously since we're seeing him now on. We're getting pictures of him through.
There he is, and it's Dre Beats. He's so small.
How tall is he?
He isn't a big guy. That's one thing, right, that McGregor said in the build-up. He was like, his head is too small. And I'm looking at it going, I know everyone's laughing, but I'm like, it is too small, though.
Right.
Like, when he fought Aldo...
Conor McGregor genuinely said, the sky's green, you go, it is green.
No, but
I
actually believe it.
You genuinely, that would be Lawrence. It is a little bit green in a way.
But it is a shade, it's similar to blue, but I'm saying to myself, when you look at them face to face, McGregor's head is considerably bigger. Like, I'm like, you.
That's one advantage of him, right?
No, but you can. The bigger you are, the more you can absorb. I think it's just a general rule. Like, the harder it is to knock you out.
With Mayweather, he's hard to hit. That's the point. So the fact he's got a small head kind of works in his favour.
Yeah, in a way, getting out the way is what he does, isn't it?
I mean,
I genuinely, from going from the Ricky Hatton fight, have wanted Mayweather to lose every single fight.
Everyone wants to see his guy get knocked out.
Please, you killed me hero, for Christ's sake. And I feel like now, this is the revenge. This is it. Because I remember being devastated when he knocked Ricky Hatton out, and I feel like this is... I think what he does really well is pick fights when he fights fighters.
Oh,
so he was like, I'm staying well the fuck away from you, mate, until he got knocked out by Marquez.
Like, oh, hi.
And then he's like, all right, mate, fancy that fight still? Let's put... and I think what's happened with McGregor is he's thought it's an MMA fighter. And they've obviously watched loads of MMA fighters come and train at Mayweather's gym over the years who are stiff and they don't really know what the hell they're doing on the stand-up game compared to a professional boxer. But now, he's picked the wrong guy. I think he's picked someone who he's thought, it's an MMA guy, and it's like, no, this is not just an MMA guy. This is like, you're dealing with someone who's got magic in his hands.
Boltwood, you're on the Irishman's side tonight.
Oh, of course, isn't everyone?
Yeah.
Literally everyone is, yeah. I just... My heart is saying McGregor, but I just don't see any way that...
Well, Wizzy isn't.
I don't see that they can win.
Wizzy isn't on... Because you said...
Have you already picked a side?
For boxing's sake, you're kind of leaning towards...
Listen, lads, this is incredibly important for both sports.
No, I don't think it is.
If the underdog... You don't think it is?
It doesn't affect MMA in the slightest.
They can't lose, though. It's like McGregor,
correct,
right?
Yeah.
He can't lose. Regardless of the fact whether he gets knocked out in the first round or bullied for 12, he wins because he's a fucking multi-millionaire from this, right? When the guy 4 years ago is meant to have been on the dole. Yeah. He's won. He's winning life.
What about that Beats advert? Did you say that?
Unbelievable. Him as a kid.
I love that.
Like, unbelievable.
It's quite
He's living the dream, right? Yeah. But at the same time, you've got to think, well, guys like Cotto, they were living the dream as well. That's a top boxer. He's like... Basically, he wasn't a fighters, but a lot of people thought this is the time when Mayweather's going to come unstuck. But like you said, his career's been so well managed. Most boxers' fights are, or careers are, because they don't want to take a fight they're going to lose. Yeah. So they wait for that perfect time. Look at Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. He waited until the very last possible moment, and then in that solidified his legacy and dropped out.
So for me, I think that you're completely right, but I think it's been really well managed until now. You're seeing the tax man coming and knocking for his money. Yeah. You're seeing him think, who will they want to watch me fight? Like, it is ironically very similar to Apollo Creed, like when you're looking at the Rocky films, where he's like, we need someone who people are going to want to turn up and see me fight, because nobody really believes in us anymore. we need the crazy Irish bastard.
There are also people at home, though, who are saying that obviously a lot of people are also backing Mayweather. There is the other option.
Oh, loads of people. People are saying that. People think I'm mental. People think I'm insane. They think he's not even going to land a glove.
They originally thought that, but you just confirmed.
No, I have. I've taken. They're saying McGregor can't box eggs, mate. They're saying he shouldn't even be in there. He shouldn't even be in the same sentence, let alone the same ring.
Yeah. See, that's why you have to give him a chance, regardless. Because if you've watched this guy, you know that he is actually one of the most accurate strikers in any form of fighting. Full stop.
Exactly.
So if you can add that with that little bit of luck that you get, do you remember Hasim Rahman when he actually
he dropped Lennox Lewis?
It's only because his little peripheral, he had a blocked little bit of peripheral there and couldn't see the punch coming. And those are the ones that
get. So I think that Mayweather.
You've got to give him a chance because of that.
He is the greatest defensive boxer of all time.
There of Mayweather doing a funny little dance with
some big guy.
Some guy.
But I think he is the greatest defensive boxer of all time. However, if you give they fight each other 10 times, I think Mayweather will find a way to outbox Conor McGregor. But you don't get 10 times, you get once. And in that time, McGregor might have something that you're totally not expecting through all these different kinds of martial arts that he's trained in.
He's a slow starter. He's got no game tape on him. So even though people say Mayweather downloads and understands your game within the first 3 or 4 rounds, he's doing that, but he's also watched 3 months of game tape on you and seen what you do.
Oh, yeah.
So he's chunking the information and going, saw that in a video, saw that in a video, saw that, oh, now he's doing that, now he's like, got him. Whereas he's not going to be able to do that with McGregor. He's got 2 punches that he's seen him throw from game tape and then all his MMA fights where he's got to worry about takedowns and kicks.
It's a totally different style, isn't it? So when you're worried about kicking and takedowns.
I think Conor's going to absolutely bum rush him.
That's the only way he can win.
He's got to go for it,
If it goes past the 3rd or the 4th round, he's in a lot of trouble because he's about to be outschooled.
I think psychologically it's going to be really interesting because they're both trying to get the advantage on each other leading up to this fight. And personally, I don't know what you think, but watching the weigh-in, the press conference, I think Conor's got the edge psychologically on him. I think there is zero fear in Conor, and I think that's actually going to help in the fight because when you watch boxers box Mayweather, it's always they're trying to hit without getting hit. Conor McGregor has no fucking problem in taking a punch to give one, and he's going to need to if he's going to fucking get rid of him.
Let's talk a little bit about what people are saying on Twitter. Hashtag the knockout. Callum Lewis is watching at home with, well, a lot of drink by the looks of it.
Cheers, Callum.
Callum, thanks for watching.
We're not drinking. We're just having.
We're just having McDonald's.
Still water. Got an apple juice.
A lot of people are watching on their phone with the. Someone's actually got like what looks like a 1950s TV in the background.
Wow.
A bit harsh.
Yeah, fine, 60s. There is also a picture down the front here.
Did you have to put that up, lads?
What,
I mean,
butterbean picture?
That's actually such a good Photoshop. People think it's real, though. It's quite annoying.
Genuinely, that,
you know what I mean?
That was done about,
I just want to make quite clear, if there are any women watching, I am in better shape. Not much better, but I am in better shape. So just pay attention.
It's true. Do you think McGregor will put Mayweather down within 4 rounds?
That was his prediction before they changed the glove sizes. I don't know, like, I'm going for within 6 because John Kavanagh, who is the trainer of McGregor, said in an interview, he very rarely gets things wrong, John Kavanagh. He's a really intelligent bloke. And he said in an interview with Ariel Helwani, I don't even think this is going to be the hardest fight he's ever had. I think it's going to be quite an easy fight, actually. And I think he's going to go through. He says if he goes toe-to-toe, it'll be 1 round, you know, a minute. He says, but if he does what he usually does, probably take him about 6 rounds, he'd break him down and get him out of there. And another thing that I thought when I was watching the weigh-ins was, fucking hell, McGregor is in the shape of his life. Like, you can't say that about Mayweather. Not that Mayweather's in bad shape.
Mayweather's 42.
But I mean, he's about, was he 40, I think 40, he is. But McGregor, he is barely 154. He is coming in dry bone to the fucking face. And he is, he's going to be 170. Like, and that's a lot of power.
There is actually, though, a bet tonight that you guys can place along with us. You can bet along this evening. Quite a few people have actually bet along. You've both placed bets, obviously. You've placed a bet. Bolt,
I'm waiting to hear the analysis from this lot before I'm waiting.
I understand. How you feel about it, man?
I think some educated betting is on the cards. Again, I need to hear a bit from. I'm a bit of a fight rookie, so I want to hear from the experts.
Okay, well, I feel good about that. That's fair enough. So basically, you through Brian's link, which is in the description, you really put this in the description. Get £20 in free bets when you open an account and bet £5. I've got to read this, but minimum deposit and stake £5 at odds of 1 to 2 or creator. Free bets credited at £4, £5 bets. Free bet stake not returned. Free bet valid for 4 days, 18 plus. Further terms and conditions apply. Those, of course, are available through Coral. It's a good bet to place.
We've got people who I never would have thought tweeting here.
Yeah. she looks like, yeah.
Say no more.
Anyway.
There's a lot at stake tonight, not only in terms of sort of reputation, but also in terms of money. Some of the Coral guys were telling us earlier, not only is it really sort of Coral that would expect to pay out a lot if McGregor wins, but also if...
it's a world record.
It's a world record payout, if that's the case.
Yeah. Leicester City, hardly
anyone
anyone bet on Leicester City to win the league. This is nothing compared to how much is getting paid out.
Hugh, you're a guy who knows about both sides. What was harder odds? Leicester City winning the league or Conor McGregor beating...
I think it was like 5,000 to 1.
Yeah. No, I mean, for you, in your mind, instead of putting...
which is the most unlikely.
Yeah.
I'd actually say Leicester winning the league is a lot more unlikely.
Yeah, really?
Over a 38-game season to be that consistent, they are either doing something dodgy or that is the most incredible thing that has literally ever happened in any sport.
So it's the most incredible thing that's literally ever happened in any sport.
I'm sorry.
You're saying, wow.
Unbelievable. Still, I don't believe that it happened.
I think a lot of people do still... I think a lot of people just lost that season out of their mind as soon as that was done.
Yeah, we've kind of like... Yeah,
it's back to normal.
We were in the Championship, so I definitely erased that team.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, I really think you've got to give him a fighter's chance, just because
he's a fighter.
Well, no, he's one of the best though. 80% of sport, I reckon, is in your head. So
you got all the physical attributes that Connor's got. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's quicker. He's in his peak.
Everything so far is working in his favour. The only thing that's against him, I guess, is the experience that Mayweather's bringing.
But the age factor on Mayweather is a factor, and he's going to, at some point, not be any good as a fighter. Otherwise, we'd have had Bobby Charlton up front and Ryan Giggs on a wing tonight. Age is a factor that gets anyone.
How old is Klitschko?
Fighting's funny, though. It's not... I think at heavyweight, it seems like you can go on a lot older.
No way.
But because the quickest things to go are your speed, your reaction times, whereas power stays a lot longer. Mayweather never really had that much power, to me anyway. He relied a lot more on reactions. And I noticed again in the Berto fight, which was his last fight, he did get hit a lot more than what we've seen him get hit before. And I'm watching that fight thinking, if Conor McGregor hits you like that,
people say that though, right? But
Berto's a good fighter.
I remember people saying the same thing about Canelo, man. Canelo is much stronger than McGregor. I'm sorry.
What weight? I got it up here.
He's much stronger. Well, I don't know the facts of the power.
In your opinion,
but from what my eye is telling me, he's got more.
He was 21, wasn't he, when he boxed?
And not only that, but he's one of the best boxers in the world.
But that was the same weight as this, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think they made Canelo cut quite heavy for that. Because I think he normally fights a little.
Mayweather was getting hit. Like those are the shots. Yeah. They're big shots. So I have to say.
Do you rate Mayweather's chin then? Yeah. Do you think he can handle McGregor?
I'll be honest. I saw him get hit a couple of times. I've seen him go down a couple of times, but he always gets back up. And to be honest, he's one of the hardest people I've ever seen hit. His skill set is like top notch.
That's my only worry as someone who's got money on this fight and really needs McGregor to win. Is he's a slippery little bastard.
That's his game.
When he's on the ropes and he just leans right back, and it's like, and you'll see De La Hoya or someone miss him just by that much, but that much takes so much power.
There's also I was watching some clips earlier of Mayweather, and I don't know an awful lot about boxing, but someone was pointing out how he loves just leaning into the other fighter and basically taking away from their punches. So when he has been caught in the past, he just leans on them for ages and basically just gets to the end of the rounds fast as he can.
If you remember Ricky Hatton, he was constantly turning his hips into him, turning his back into him, making the referee intervene and break it up anytime that Because Ricky Hatton wanted to just stick his head in his chest and got to work on the body, didn't he? And he took that away from him completely.
Can I ask a little bit then in terms of boxing integrity? Because I think there's a lot more sort of the concept of integrity in boxing, or sort of keeping the integrity of the sport, is a lot more here than sort of Conor losing out for MMA. If he's doing that to Conor McGregor, who's basically a fighter who's never boxed before, can boxing really sort of come out with this with a good reputation? Or is it more that boxing will just go, well, that was Mayweather, that's the way that Mayweather does it?
Maybe. I mean, one guy doesn't represent a whole sport, even though that's what it's being built.
Although in this case it is being built that way.
It is being built that way, yeah, but I think that...
I actually think this is the best matchup, though, for MMA. Because I think, like you say, if you put McGregor in there with an elite boxer in his prime who does have power, big power, like a Triple G or someone like a murderer like that,
in trouble.
Then we're talking about. I'm not betting on McGregor to win at all. But I think because Mayweather, I don't think he's a power puncher. I think that's a really good thing.
You know, it's so interesting to me because I love boxing, and a lot of boxing is kind of degraded by people that have fallen in love with MMA, which I have as well, because of the brutality that you see, because of how it's so no holds barred. You will remember when the UFC started, they were elbowing each other. There was like rules.
Shots.
Right, there were rules.
Have you seen that clip?
There weren't the rules that there are now.
Yeah.
So we've been on like a journey with this thing, and these guys are literally putting their lives on the line. You see guys that are like, they shouldn't be allowed to be fighting, you're thinking, but they carry on and then they win the fight, getting in some triangle or whatever it is.
Do you know there's currently 28,000 people watching the stream?
Unbelievable.
Thanks to everyone.
Incredible.
If you are watching the stream, hit the like button. Cheers, everyone. Appreciate that. And subscribe.
Yeah,
we haven't clicked subscribe.
Welcome if you are brand new here.
I'm thinking, yeah, you're right. We have been on a bit of a journey, and what's weird is this sport that has taken the world by storm has thrown up this kid who can actually cross over because he's that fucking good. In my opinion, I'm
Go
not
through the rest
saying
of the divisions, right? If you had to throw Stipe Miocic in against Anthony Joshua, that's fucking laughable, right? Forget it. If you had to throw even John Jones in against Cleverly, right? Laughable, right? If you go through all of the UFC champions, there's literally McGregor that you could probably do.
But why is that? Is that because of his skill set or because of his braggadocio, because of the whole game that he's got?
A bit of both, I would say.
Yeah, I think he's all good in MMA.
Right,
He's got good fundamentals.
You know, in all sports, you get players that are bigger than the sport. So to me, Messi is bigger than football. To me, Cristiano is bigger than football. LeBron James is bigger than the NBA.
Fellaini.
I mean,
literally bigger.
Yeah.
He's a big old boy.
McGregor is bigger than the UFC.
For me, I feel that applies more than ever to McGregor. Yeah. Because if you take football away from Messi, or you say, well, Messi, you're not going to face the best in the world, it's difficult to find sort of better teams, whereas McGregor can always just sort of say, well, I want to fight this guy.
He sells a fight on his own.
He sells a fight individually, whereas Messi, without the growing up through Barcelona or any of the teams to play against, isn't the same guy, and LeBron James not playing in the NBA isn't the same guy. So it's almost exclusively that way for McGregor, isn't it?
I mean, UFC has made him as well, but it's like you get wrestlers like The Rock as a classic example. They just outgrow their little.
By the way, can we just watch this little weird? Floyd Mayweather's just getting
someone's massaging his little
head massage.
Oh, I could do it.
Maybe that'll make it grow. Yeah. I know when someone touches my head,
should we try it now?
It does tend to.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
He's a weird man, isn't he? He's a funny little bloke.
Can I ask a rookie question?
Yeah.
To the enthusiast?
What is boxing?
What are they fighting for?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Oh, it's
incredible.
A little glitter belt. Claire's like Tesla's mate.
Obviously,
This is actually a really good question.
So this is obviously for both fighters. This is a very different way to prepare for a fight. What are each fighter looking for in that preparation time? Like, what are the things they're basically expecting to happen, looking to achieve from it? How will they be?
It seems to me like what's gone on in the background is they're all looking for each other's weaknesses and how to exploit that. And from what I understand, Paulie Malignaggi described the fighting style that McGregor was coming out with, and that was a debacle in its own. We'll talk a little bit about that, but
it's karate.
He basically says a karate stance, which so that it sounds to me like rather than coming at Mayweather like a normal boxer would, it's going to be really far back and keeping you at bay, because he does fight a bit like this, and I think he's gonna try and confuse Mayweather, and in the confusion he's going to try and land that punch. But I think Mayweather, we're just going to get what we always get. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I don't think he's going to. He's saying he's going to come out swinging, and he should, for the good of his sport and for his own reputation. If an 0-0 fighter can even hang with you, it doesn't look good for a man who's supposedly the greatest ever. It seems like he wants to go for the knockout Mayweather. That's why he's agreed to the 8-ounce gloves.
I mean, they say that before.
Why is he agreed to 8-ounce gloves?
They all say that before the fight.
That's strange, though, isn't it? That
is he underestimating him?
10-ounce gloves is great for Mayweather.
I think he underestimated him a few weeks ago, and now he's looking at him like, I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah. Do you ever watch the Jack Slack breakdowns? I think Jack Slack's one of the best MMA journalists out there, and he does.
I watch DT's breakdowns.
He's a real. Don't bother doing that. He's a real historian of combat sports. He'll go back to like boxing from the 20s and the 30s, and he'll show you clips from Marciano and Ali and all these. And he broke down Conor probably about 2 years ago, and he shows you the fundamentals that Conor uses, and a lot of it is like really old school. Do you remember what Tyson was obsessed with, watching all these black and white fighters and stuff? And McGregor is obsessed with all of these old style fights. Some of the punches that he throws, you don't see in modern fighting, but you see them in 1920s and 1930s boxing and
to
stuff.
feed off the back of that as well, we spoke about, is it Ido Portal?
Yeah, the movement
coach, who seems fairly key to the way that he's been developing all his fights.
I think he binned him after the last fight, actually.
Yeah,
no, he's still working.
He's still working with him. Well, we spoke to the guy from London Real,
the guy who made a documentary on Ido.
and it seemed like he says they're still quite close. They still. I don't think he binned him. I think it was that it was both of them were trying to find the time to work together and couldn't find that time. At least before the fight, and he was flying all over the world. But he has found the time apparently to work with him before the fight, and it is fairly fascinating to look at the difference in his movement since he started working with him. And
one thing that strikes me off the back of that is Floyd Mayweather comes across as someone who's been trained from being a baby to do what his dad tells him to do. He doesn't have to worry about anything outside of that. He's not looking, can I take this from Muay Thai? Can I take this from Taekwondo? Can I take this from Jiu-Jitsu? He's not trying to broaden his horizons. He's like, Dad, what do I do? That is his thing. Conor McGregor he's next level. He's trying to further himself in every single way.
Slough's a big place.
And if you're going to try and do that, if you're going to try and beat a Mayweather, you need someone who thinks on another level beyond what I think Mayweather is.
Because obviously we've got part of the reason I brought that up is because we're looking at the movement of Conor McGregor. But can we bring that up on the Twitter feed?
I don't know if we can do this because it's UFC.
We can. It's fine. So there's that, right?
Yeah.
There's the movement of Conor McGregor. Take it back down, doesn't matter. Basically, a lot of people are talking about the Conor McGregor's movement and why he does that. I was doing some reading on Conor McGregor's movement before the match and before a couple of the fights anyways. And, I mean, before the matches we did today. And they were saying that there's actually a belief that is about his energy.
Be water, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason he moves his arms like that is because it's all about being powerful. And apparently, if you move your arms in that way, it makes you powerful. Paul Pogba does it as well, apparently. There are a lot of other fighters.
Yeah, something slightly different to what I was saying.
Yeah.
What you're speaking about
is Bruce Lee, yeah.
He actually said on the press conference, which I thought was really weird, and apparently John Kavanagh said when he first got the text message from Conor McGregor that the fight was on, he said, "You fucked up. You're going to see some Bruce Lee shit here." And I think actually, when he was doing the press conference afterwards, when they did the face-off, he goes, "This is some Bruce Lee shit."
I saw it.
And he gives it that. And I think if Conor McGregor goes into a totally different sport, first time, 49-0, knocks him out, we're now looking at the next Bruce Lee, like a combat icon of like, this guy's capable of anything. Do you know what I mean? Because Bruce Lee is a myth. Wow. Bruce Lee is a legend. But he's also, we've seen him in movies, but actually Conor McGregor's going out there and crossing into a sport against other professionals, never done it before. If he takes him out, that puts him up there with Bruce Lee.
Do you see yourself as sort of the YouTuber Bruce Lee?
Not really.
Yeah, you really should, because you're number 4 trending in the UK on Twitter.
Thanks very much.
Said it couldn't be done.
I mean, and apparently I'm not marketable. If you ask some YouTube companies out there, unlucky.
Keep tweeting it. Because
do you know what I think is worth looking at? The fight that you need to look at prior to this one is the Eddie Alvarez fight.
Yeah.
Because after he beat Aldo, and I think he blew a lot of people's minds with the way he finished Aldo so quick. I thought he's in for a war here.
Some people thought that was a lucky punch as well, though, didn't they?
No chance. But after he destroys Aldo, he then takes Eddie Alvarez, and I was thinking, that's a step too far. You've got to have 1 fight, 2 fights. You've got to go and move through the rankings a little bit. Maybe jump in at 4th or 5th or 3rd or the #1 contender and then fight for the belt. But he goes straight in at Alvarez.
I mean, he did, though. He had Nate Diaz, and that is the mock. That is what everyone says. Oh, he quit. He got hit, he quit. He went in for the takedown.
He had a staph infection.
Mayweather has taken, I think, something from that. Going to, if I hit him enough times, he's going to... No, there's a lot of boxing people who think he's going to retire on his stool. They think he's a quitter. Do you reckon he's a quitter, mate?
I think anyone who's ever rolled, you understand that when you're in a position like that, you're not getting out of a rear naked choke with someone of the level of Nate Diaz.
Mm-hmm. There's people that say as well that he actually gave him his back so that he didn't get the...
I agree with you. Actually,
Chael Sonnen's got a lot to say about stuff like that, where people will give you the way out in a fight.
Chael Sonnen's taken a bet with Brendan Schaub for 100 grand And it shows on saying Mayweather and Brendan Schaub saying McGregor.
Imagine having that kind of podcast money.
Ironically, our podcast is bigger than them, but we're just not getting that kind of... Someone's not doing the job.
Who's number 4 in the UK?
Whose job is it to get the sponsors, Lawrence?
Yeah. I don't know, Glenn. No. True Geordie and guests. They'd love to... Callum Lewis would like to know what you think about Davis failing to make weight and getting stripped of the title.
Who? I didn't know that.
I heard he's done it on purpose.
Davis getting stripped, failing to make weight, getting stripped.
I heard he's done it on purpose.
He's done it on purpose?
Just to avoid having to fight someone else, but I can't. Don't quote me on that.
You don't quote.
There's another allegedly. We're not even at 3 o'clock.
Q, you do spend a lot of your day researching this sort of thing, don't you? So you do have lots of inside track.
In general.
He is the Neo of YouTube. He hooks in and he just lays back. The eyelids are going and he's absorbing the information. What do you reckon about John Jones, lads? Because I know he's...
I'm fucking gutted, mate. I'm absolutely gutted. I nearly cried real man tears. I tweeted the picture of DC's face, Joe, where he's crying after the fight, because that's exactly how I felt.
But he made us all into believers again when he made it back to the title and that. I felt like, all right, he's a changed man.
Have they released
and I believed it, and I felt like a bit of an idiot. I'm like, after that come out, and he's like, no, it's another tainted supplement. I'm like, how are you, man? Are you really going to try and pull that shit?
It's like another kid at Michael Jackson's, allegedly. It's another kid.
Another one, as Chris Rock would say. I thought it was Groundhog Day. No, what do you think, was he, mate? Because I have
it's
John
really
Jones as the greatest.
I actually feel so sorry for Cormier, because it's just like...
Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, he's a really good guy, and I feel like even though he's allegedly been caught doing whatnot, and he's allegedly been up to no good again, he's still got that win, and that win that's everything. That's
and it was in devastating fashion as well. So it's not like it was a decision. He got the crap kicked out of him. But actually, Daniel Cormier was doing pretty well in that fight. The game plan was great. And for a man who's massively undersized...
He's learned his lesson a little well.
Yeah.
I mean, he did much better, but again, it's like, that's all been taken from him. He'll be at rock bottom. He'll never be able to erase that, regardless of whether they take the win away from him.
Will you ever trust John Jones again? Would you give him another chance, or are you just like...
I would, but his career's going to be over because they're going to ban him for 4 years.
Three or four probably, but he's still only going to be 33 as a big lad.
Do you know what Dana said as well? They was already booking the Stipe Miocic super fight at heavyweight.
Fuck me.
John Jones is the heavyweight champion of the UFC. We said this last week when we was on. We were saying that UFC's been damaged a little bit by McGregor disappearing off to fight Mayweather, by Ronda deciding that she's not into it no more.
She's actually getting married today, to Travis Brown.
Is she?
Today.
I didn't get that.
If she's watching,
do you also want to
could have had this old fella.
Can you imagine the arguments?
Yeah.
Do you also want to talk about,
Do you
also want to talk about Bisping?
Michael Bisping, George St. Pierre officially announced.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I think George St. Pierre might have dropped the bollock. Yeah, lad. I think he's looking at all of the champions, thinking, "Where's my place in the legacy?" Because he wants to apparently better Conor McGregor's 2-weight world champion thing and try and do 3. So he's starting with Bisping, and I think Bisping's a stylistic nightmare for him. He's really hard to take down, and he gets up very well on the feet. George St. Pierre, people remember him in his prime as the absolute world-class fighter that he was.
One of the best ever.
In the last few fights, he got the crap kicked out of him by welterweights, and I think Bisping just hits harder, and he's really underrated. Bisping
is underrated, but I also think that it's probably when you look at the champions, it's still probably the easiest route in for him to take a title fight.
Woodley wouldn't be. Woodley would sort of does everything better than GSP. He's
Woodley
like a 2.0, isn't he?
Woodley's
too late for all that now, mate.
Yeah,
it's too late.
Woodley would.
But I don't think GSP's had a day out of the gym, so he's clearly going to still be in shape. But he's going to be rusty. You're going to be rusty. You can't help but be rusty. He's not going to be on that
They trained
same
together, once, and Bisping admitted he got taken down at will. But he says, I've improved enough now, so that won't happen next time.
Can I just say, there's a question, I don't know who it's for. There's a... Who's in the lightest grey T-shirt?
Saunders.
Who's in the light grey T-shirt, and does he have Twitter?
Oh.
Yeah.
Saunders.
Is it female?
It is a female assist.
Come on, lad.
No, don't. Can you not just slide into the DMs on Instagram like any other self-respecting girl would? I'm trying to watch a fight, woman. Right? Honestly.
Have you got any more orange juice, mate?
Yeah. I mean, you're literally have to get up all the time.
Oh, sweet. Okay, well, I'll be back in a second.
Still water. Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. Honestly. Have some respect for yourself.
There's someone coming through to deal with you.
Deal with you.
Yeah.
They've got Paulie Malignaggi on camera at the moment, and they're talking through the fundamentals, what looks like Mayweather's fundamentals.
Yeah.
So it's probably what they worked on in camp with McGregor.
Also, he's an old school MMA fighter who he's doing it with, man. Well, I was listening to him on a podcast the other day. What's his name again? He fought years ago. Oh, I can't remember his name.
Is this true about Malignaggi being a mole in the
Oh,
camp?
yeah.
Maybe.
So, Malignaggi, like the little bitch that he is, in my opinion, ran straight back to Mayweather after that sparring
Does
session.
he look like he's not slept since McGregor put him on his eyes? Look at his eyes. Next time he zooms in on it, look at his eyes.
His eyes don't look great, I'll give you that.
He looks like Uncle Fester if he just didn't shave his head right now and just got
He looks like he's ready to start tweaking.
I don't think Uncle Fester shaves his head.
Yeah. I do.
Don't believe me, I've met him.
He's a chubby little Italian though, isn't he? But the thing about Malignaggi that really annoys me is beforehand, all right, he got done by Con, got done by Hatton. Every good fighter that came along, he lost to. Now he's having his 5 minutes of fame thanks to McGregor. And I'm like, the only thing you're even known for, mate, is doing a sparring session with McGregor to this generation of fight fans. No one even knows who you are. Shut up, mate.
He's got himself a commentating gig, though, has he? He's got himself the commentating gig, so he's, you know.
Yeah.
But that's Pat Miletich. That's Pat Miletich. He's slimmed down.
We're just naming people on the screen now. Yeah. I'm completely on the same wavelength as Saunders. No clue what's going on. But loving it. To win. Saunders, I feel a bit sorry for you because I mean, really, I know you're out there. We probably know as much as each other.
I wouldn't count that.
Yeah, okay.
You sound like you know what you're talking about.
I thought this fight
I'm not being funny,
already
but you've been doing podcasts with me for how long?
Yeah.
I've been talking about this fight for how long?
He's just been nodding.
He doesn't even listen.
I've genuinely been interviewing fighters and the fighters are. I'm sitting there and they go, genuinely, they turn to me and they go, do you remember the fight where? And I'm like, absolutely. Yeah.
Dickhead.
That was obviously Frank Mir.
Lawrence,
Dan Hardy don't talk like that.
My prediction for the fight is McGregor in 3.
In 3?
Oh God, that worries me.
Why?
Because when you say something that I say, I'm like, you've got to be wrong. This must be wrong. I'm going to be shown right up here, aren't I?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go for that one.
Honestly, I think the most compelling viewing is going to be watching Brian win his bet.
If I do win it,
Sky need to pull out Dan Hardy because I'm not happy with the
Where
bias.
is Dan Hardy tonight? Because he's been all over the coverage beforehand, and Dan Hardy was a.
Unless he's going to wheel him out when Conor comes out, not for the undercard.
You've met Dan before, haven't you?
Yes.
He's one of the nicest.
He was one of the nicest guys and guests we've ever had.
Ever had.
The best thing was as well, he also watched the podcast before he came on, so he knew about what you were going to talk about, which was great.
And I think he's been one of the best things that Sky could have done is bringing him in, and they got lucky, but looks like they're not really using him, unfortunately, which is typical Sky. Ignore the best talent, go for the cheap option. Soccer AM. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Whoa!
Fine. Get better views anyway.
Shots fired all over the place.
Sorry.
Need to reload.
Good to have you. Good to have you. Thanks for coming. There are McDonald's apple pies if anyone wants one. I bought them because I thought they were a great midnight snack sort of thing.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
We've got a lot of food back there if you guys want anything.
This guy's another.
This guy's another. What you guys are eating?
One of the boxers, Nelson's. Is that
Johnny Nelson.
He was
Sheffield
doing an
fighter.
interview the other day, and I respect him on boxing. Like, he knows his boxing, and he's done the previews for all of the big fights in Britain. And I just thought to myself, you barely know Conor McGregor, do you? He's like, oh, Conor McGregor's going to do this fight. He mightn't even have a fight again. I'm like, mate, the kid's an animal. Like, he loves fighting. He's set for life already. I thought it amazes me how many boxing fans are saying McGregor hasn't got a chance.
But he shouldn't have a chance. He shouldn't.
But I'm like, if you watch the footage, nobody would talk about McGregor like a little old lady, like so many of our mates and the boxing fans.
It's crossed the sporting thing and just got into the disrespectful thing. That's the thing.
It's not disrespect. I'm sorry, right? To me, this is common sense, right?
Right.
When you apply common sense, one sporting, a mastership of one sporting event is not going to help you in another. It
What
shouldn't.
about Brexit?
But when it encompasses boxing, MMA, MMA, obviously, part of that is punching, and boxing is a sport of punching. So it's not like a totally different. Like some people are doing analogies of a swimmer versus a 100-metre sprinter. It's not what's going on here. It's a lot more like a triathlete going against a long-distance swimmer. He does other things, but he may happen to be a great swimmer as well, do you know?
There's also, recently, who was the Olympic swimmer, the American Olympic swimmer?
Oh, God, I've set him off.
Phelps, yeah, he swam against a shark.
That's not what this is like. This is not like a
He
shark.
almost beat a shark. It was during.
Did the shark know he was in a race?
Yeah, well, no.
He didn't really.
That is a good
No,
roll.
it wasn't really against. It was against
That's a good
degenerated
roll,
shark.
lads. This is the Cleverly fight, isn't it?
Badu Jackson.
That is actually a really good
He is
roll.
a bad man.
So we're doing the walkouts now for
Very
Cleverly's
much
fight.
so.
Of course, one of Britain's best. Nathan
Shocking
Cleverly.
goals, to be fair.
Look at that. Conor McGregor looks like he means business tonight. If you get 34,000 people watching right now.
Cheers, everyone. Subscribe.
Unbelievable.
Number one trending apparently in on live.
I'm not sellable, lads. I just wish I could get a brand deal.
Let's put it this way, right? In Conor McGregor's home country, you're the #1 trending live YouTube
Oh, shout
feed.
out Ireland. I've got Irish blood. I've got Irish blood. And I love how whenever Conor McGregor's fighting, everyone goes, I've got Irish blood. Part gypsy, so thank you very much. I can say that because that is actually true.
I had a Guinness 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You've got some Irish in you, then,
Yeah,
technically.
exactly, brother.
I love it.
There's so many jokes I can make about Boltwood at this point.
Don't worry about it.
Boltwood's actually engaged to an Irish. He's engaged to an Irish.
How's that going for you, mate? I mean, I know we're going off topic here, but
It's going very well, you know.
living life.
Beautiful Irish women, Irish beautiful people, and that's why we're going for Conor McGregor.
Oh, do you know what's weird about Irish people? They're all good singers.
Here we go.
I know that's a horrible
That's a massively
generalisation,
sweeping
but you get a
statement.
lot of good singers out there.
Never heard Roy
Oh,
Keane
yeah.
whistle
Just-
a tune.
Just while everyone's
another
watching at
technical
home,
character,
we're at the point where
Nathan Cleverly's coming out
Nathan
now.
Cleverly's coming out now.
Decent tat. He's saying you're not getting this belt, mate.
Nice
It's not
belt.
happening.
Nice belt though.
Uh-huh.
Is that real gold? Do you think?
It will be, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the belt for the money belt, isn't it, for the McGregor?
Beverage bell.
I got a couple of mates who are boxers. One was a British champion, one was a Commonwealth champion, and they've all banged wearing a belt after they've won it. Every single one of them. I was like, can you? And then you speak to people who've won it after them. I was like, you banged in a belt. I knew a girl actually who was seeing someone who beat one of my mates.
Did you see that WWE girl? I'm not sure I can say everything that she did, but she had a belt, and she was doing certain types of shots on the belt,
Wow.
involving her male friend. And then there was another photo.
Was
with
it
her,
protein shots?
yeah, and it was her with this little kid and this little 8-year-old boy
Oh, yes.
holding the belt like a week later or whatever, and he's like, and it's like, oh, you might want to clean that.
Have we got a Dettol wipe?
Before you take a picture.
You need more than a Dettol wipe for that.
If I was that kid's parents, I'd be suing, to be honest with you.
Cleverly's 3-1 to win this fight. You guys backing him for this?
What's Badu? Badu's bad, mate.
What about Badu's odds?
We're going to find out. We've got the betting lad in with us.
What's
He's gonna
everyone's?
find out.
This is a good question actually from Michael Noden. What's everyone's dream match fight? What's everyone's dream fight? Absolutely anyone.
In MMA or in boxing?
Just dream
I
fight.
guess if you could just sort of
Just
pair
dream
anyone
fight,
up, you know.
I'd love to see John Jones against Brock.
Really?
Really.
I mean, that could happen now.
Is
I
that
know
what you
just
did?
No, they're just in Russia or Dubai, somewhere where USADA's not bothering going.
Just like kickboxer. There's not even a cage. It's just like
USADA
dig a
definitely
ditch
bothers
around
going
them.
to Russia. I just think it's what they find when they get there.
There's all them torches that the Nazis have left behind, and they're just like, in a little room
Someone
somewhere.
tweeted out a funny picture the other day of Brock and Jones, because they fought on the same card, holding like each other and that, and it's like, get friends that are positive.
Oh, by the way, you just passed 480,000 subs.
Cheers, everyone. It's not 500, but you know,
It's closer though.
it's getting there.
Do you know what? If we do 500 tonight, I think you're going to have to do a forfeit.
Yeah, I mean, let's not.
We're going to have to do that. Whatever those shots you were talking about with that belt, we'll all do that.
Give us a minute. I'm just going into the bathroom. I'll be right back, lads.
Hugh, what about you?
Cheers, mate,
What's your ideal fight?
I don't really know, to be honest.
If you could pick anyone from anywhere, where would it be? Just maybe.
Where would I go?
Who do you want to see fight? Is it?
Genuinely, this is my dream fight, lads. Like
King Kong versus T-Rex.
just the
Yeah.
two most. A tiger versus a lion, but I've already watched that on YouTube the other day.
Aren't
and
tigers
it
more-
turns out a lion,
We know.
the mane The main stop's the Tiger.
I thought the Tigers was way bigger though. I thought it was like a whole nother weight class.
No. This was.
Turns out lions and tigers don't mind about weight class.
They don't care, mate. Badasses. A lion will beat a tiger.
Yeah.
Fighting animals. Anyway,
will they ever make a human who can swim faster than a shark?
I thought you were going to say Howson v DT. I thought that was the dream.
Howson DT. That's it. For those who don't know, there's a bit of beef going on YouTube right now.
Is there a potential?
I'll tell you a fight I'd like to see, right? But it's not very likely to happen.
I'm listening.
People said McGregor Mayweather wouldn't happen.
Anthony Joshua against David Haye.
Really?
It's not about interest, right? It's just that I don't think there's many people that can actually beat Joshua. So David Haye.
Now that you're speaking about boxing, I'm a bit like you. I think that people can beat Joshua, but it's certain type of style. You have to be light on your feet and you have to dance around a bit. And I think a prime Tyson Fury would give him some problems.
Yeah, that would be another great fight.
Because a lot of people look at Tyson Fury now. He's out of shape and he's got the issues that he's got. But when you've seen him against Klitschko barely touched him, mate. He made easy work of Klitschko. Joshua beat Klitschko, but it looked like a war.
Just so you know, we're about the third fight on the card's about to start.
All right.
Yeah.
How many after this until?
So there's two more. So there's one, and then there's McGregor Mayweather. Wow, Brian, what do you think of this? In terms of just in terms of look?
Not really, mate.
What if I got that sort of tattoo?
You need that tattoo in your life.
Yeah, that sort of tattoo.
Are you going to get any?
I'm sort of more inspired to get tattoos since meeting you.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've really changed each other's lives, because you said you were thinking of getting all your tattoos removed to look more like me.
And I'm gonna grow my hair out.
We're actually going to get Statman Dave, who's normally on the kickoff, a tattoo instead of dyeing his hair.
Really?
And now we said it on air.
I just decided it.
So what is he getting?
About bleeding time. That was last season.
All right, we're round one now. Cleverly's fighting. He's going straight at him.
Someone's actually just tweeted me and said the belts are usually real and insured for between 150 and 250.
He's cracking the jab.
And you keep them.
It's round one, by the way, guys. I think we're going to visualise this up in one of the corners of the screen somewhere. We're going to put a round.
2 minutes 44 here.
We're just working on that at the moment.
It's there.
Yeah.
There we go. Round one.
Technology.
It's definitely starting.
21st century and all
that. Do you think Conor has enough time to prepare for the all-time great Floyd Mayweather? Do you think he had enough time to prepare?
That did worry me a bit before the fight, because I was a little bit like, you're just going to
do you think when it was announced?
Because it was announced in like June.
But do you think he was just like playing PlayStation and scratching his nuts back then? Or do you reckon he was, as soon as he dried off with Alvarez, he was thinking that was a possibility in there for it anyway? I think he's been doing it since last year.
Well, he said with that December when it was meet Conor McGregor and 5,000 people turned up to meet him, paying God knows how much a pop. He said, "I'm going straight for Floyd Mayweather now. This is the fight I want." He's getting 30 million tonight before he even gets the pay-per-view cut.
He's getting one Sissoko.
And Musa Sissoko just follows him around going, anything I can help you with? Do you need any toilet roll?
I'll pay you in instalments. I'm
sure you can get a guy cheaper than that.
Yeah.
Floyd's
definitely can.
Floyd's guaranteed 100 though, no matter what happens.
Jesus.
That's not a bad night's work. People are talking about what's the motivation for Mayweather to come and fight McGregor. One, I think it's because he thinks it's an easy fight. Two, it's fucking 100 million, right? I'd fight anyone for 100 million, not a problem.
Anyone.
I would fight a fucking lion for 100 million.
Really?
I'm the Dana White of this thing. I'm the Dana White of this situation. Come on, boys. Make it happen. We're going to put it out on the True Geordie YouTube channel live. Sponsored by Coral.
YouTube boxing is a thing now.
It is. Well, that's doing it.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's become relevant. Right. To be honest,
who would you like to see most fight?
Diss records on YouTube or boxing on YouTube? We're gonna.
Who would you most like to see fight? If you had to pair up any YouTubers to fight, who would you like to see fight?
In all honesty, now that I've heard that it's a possibility,
Saunders and his brother.
It's got to be DT and Stephen.
That would be mental,
right? There's 42,000 people watching this.
Shout out!
Can we fill Old Trafford?
Cheers.
If we get to the level where we fill Old Trafford or Wembley, that is unbelievable.
We've almost filled the old Anfield. We've definitely filled Bournemouth.
Well, the thing is, when we started doing the podcast, I said to him, within about 4 years, I want to be able to do like a fight companion like Joe Rogan. 9 months later, here we are.
I birthed it.
Just call me Joe.
Yeah.
I'm not Joe Rogan. He's way richer than me.
Yeah. Way better
He's
looking as well.
He's a handsome lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's doing a comedy gig tonight, actually. So the chances are he's going to be doing a Joe, and someone's going to go, yes! He's going to let him know what's happening. He's not actually watching the fight. How mental is that?
I went to see him in LA once. He's really good.
Was he good on
really good
stand-up, was he?
Yeah.
I scored lucky. I caught him and Joey Diaz at the Comedy Store when I went to LA.
Joey Diaz.
I shit it though. He was standing next to me and I wanted to ask him for a cuddle, and I just shit it.
Hanson really is a different man than you expect him to be.
I wasn't expecting you to say a cuddle there.
What else am I going to do? Knuckles? Donkey scrub?
What made me laugh is Rogan's 1000th podcast. I was like expecting something like a really big guest or something. No, it was Joey Diaz going, I shit myself the other day. I'm like, now that's how you do 1000, mate. He's like, yeah.
Shit yourself.
Me next to, no, I couldn't make it into the house because the wife had locked us out. He's like, so I just took a shit on the tree. Then the next door neighbour thought a bear had been lurking. To be honest, he is about the size of a black bear, so yeah, that makes sense.
How long do you reckon you'll last with McGregor? Is a good question from Danny War.
Yeah.
How long would you last with McGregor?
In a fight?
Less than Aldo.
I mean, how long do you reckon you'd last with McGregor?
I know an 18-stone lad who sparred with him once, and because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, if I punch McGregor, he's magic, but you know, he's not superhuman. Like a big lad hits you.
What was the mountain weight at? Was he 30 stone?
Is that the guy from the Game of
they moved around, didn't they, together?
Well, he took him. I think
slapped him.
The mountain was being. He understood I could really hurt this guy if I hit him. So, but McGregor was quite impressive there. He was moving around him, but
we're trending in the Middle East on YouTube.
Me mate, who's the 18-stone kid, the local lad who's like a bricklayer, because he loves MMA. I was like, what was it like? He went, oh, he's so hard. He's a nightmare. He's a hard, horrible man to fight. And it was like, I could see he like got the shit kicked out of him just by the look in his eyes.
I've sparred guys that are 9 stone, which is literally half of what I weigh. And it's just the speed.
Is that like Manny Pacquiao's fighting, like roughly around that?
And you cover up where someone goes up top for you, and you cover up, and then you open. What the fuck are they gone? And then you're on.
There's a good fight coming up in the UFC. Cody Garbrandt versus TJ Dillashaw.
I think it's more than a good fight.
That for me is like really going under the radar right now. Cody Garbrandt schooled. Who was the previous champion again?
Oh, do you know shit! He's just beat.
You don't know. You don't know. Anyway.
It was Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, I think Cody Garbrandt is like the closest thing we've seen to a Conor McGregor, actually.
Oh, absolutely. He's got magic in his hands.
Just so you guys can keep up, we're on round 2. And 50,000 people are watching the stream.
That's fucking mental, that. That's St. James's Park, you know.
There's a guy that keeps following Cody around.
Subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you. Cheers.
Who keeps following around and turning up outside his gym, offering to fight him, and then when he turns up, just fucking legs it and stuff.
He's like
but then gets on.
Some bodybuilder has been mouthing off at him on Twitter. Is that who you're on about as well?
Have you seen it? Yeah. Shallow King, is it?
Yeah.
Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Who would win?
Right now.
So prime Anthony Joshua's not going to Ibiza with the lads. So you're talking about.
So if they now said Joshua versus Fury. Who would you give the best chance?
Got to go with Joshua.
I mean, well,
I think
are they both like prime health?
We're imagining that.
If they said now we're going to put this fight together.
How long has Tyson got to prepare?
18 months.
Yeah, like
18 months.
Yeah, so
That's a long training camp.
Yeah.
I'd give it to Tyson.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because boxing isn't just a knockout sport. It's not just about.
But the show's
can
called
I put him on the floor? Right?
No, I agree with you.
Tyson is a dancer.
Yeah.
For a big guy, he's unbelievable quick feet.
Do you think that Joshua is not a one-trick pony, but do you think he's a bit one-dimensional?
No, but you've already seen he can be knocked out.
Yeah.
He's got, you know,
in the amateurs
he's a big
as well,
guy, right? And like, aesthetically, he's like very difficult. You think to kind of get in any way.
The women love him.
But
he's got a right rod on him. Let's face it. That's what he wanted to say, isn't it?
No, I watched an interview with him where this woman interrupts the interview and she's like, "Oh, Tyson, will you give Joshua? Will you give me a kiss?" And he's like, you can see it's uncomfortable for him. I've never seen a man more like perved on in my entire life.
There's more footage now of McGregor walking through the building.
Sharp.
I feel like he's just prowling the perimeter.
He's got Conor Jr. with him and his missus.
He's also just making sure that I don't think anyone who's not meant to be in there is in there. You know, he's just sort of going around. You meant to be in here? Yeah.
He likes a big set of glasses.
Why are they calling him the 2-division UFC champion?
Well, they stripped of it, but I suppose they.
I suppose at one time.
I'm with you, mate. I think that Tyson Fury is a better technical boxer than Anthony Joshua.
That's what it would be judged on, and the result might not be. It might be one of those fights that people.
A decision.
Think, oh, but he hit him harder and da da da. Yeah, he'd get a decision, I reckon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was going to say during the last Joshua fight, and I thought, I won't say it because I'll get ridiculed on Twitter. I'll just say it on a stream where there's 50,000 people instead of get ridiculed on this instead. But what I was... Because if you say it on Twitter, anyone's only going to see that one tweet. And I can't explain what the fuck I'm on about. So the context of what I was going to say is, I think Conor McGregor's a better technical boxer than Anthony Joshua. And people wouldn't have said... They'd have just gone,
I'm pretty sure you did say that, actually. Did you? You did say that, I think.
I might have.
Yeah, maybe I did. Maybe because I remember everyone going, fuck!
Can I just say...
What I'm trying to... Don't break me up there before I forget to finish. But what I want to say is, as a pure technical ability, I'm not saying he would beat Anthony Joshua. I'm not saying that he could fight at heavyweight against heavyweights. Just from a pure technique point of view, I think Conor McGregor is a better boxer than Anthony Joshua, because I think Joshua's really... basic.
The heavier you get, though, the harder it is to be technically gifted.
Is this your nightmare on Twitter?
What's happening?
Go to the Twitter screen, guys. Is this your nightmare?
Oh,
this, that.
Why do people keep doing this?
Terrifying.
I'm not being... I'm not... All right.
What, who's doing that?
The Pardew isn't here. It's fine. Enjoy yourselves, lads.
If you had This Is Your Life, do you reckon you would want Alan Pardew there?
No, I wouldn't want...
A man who...
Can we talk about... Yeah.
Drew Geordie versus Lawrence McKenna with the chainsaw. Who would win?
With the chain... Who's got the chainsaw? That's probably...
It's probably quite a good advantage to have.
I think Brian would manage to wrestle it off me.
No, he'd be like, how'd you get this started?
Yeah.
Is this petrol?
Brian would go, give it here.
Off with his head.
You don't wash it like that.
All right, I'm looking at the Twitter now. The knockout.
I want to see Zlatan versus Brock Lesnar. I'd actually be interested to see Zlatan fight someone.
Zlatan's got a black belt in
Lesnar would snap him in
Taekwondo.
two, though, surely.
Yeah. So he's going to have some... Well, you've seen the kicks on the bag that he's been doing. So I think he had a legitimate black belt in Taekwondo, and then the Italian Olympic team give him like an honorary black belt when he was in Italy as well.
Who else wants to see Eric Bay versus Zlatan? That would be quite the fight.
Do you know what? I think Chris Smalling's a black belt in judo.
Is he really?
Really?
Wow.
That sort of self-control.
He's one of those, he can do it all, apparently, that kid. He's got everything.
Yeah, apart from, obviously, defend.
Or play out from the back.
To be fair...
Yeah. Can you play out from the back? No, but I
No, but I've got a serious Haragoshi, you should see.
Is anyone watching? Has anyone been paying attention to this, lads? Because to me...
Cleverly's on the
We're in
front
round
foot.
3, by the way, just so you guys know.
Cleverly seems to be getting picked apart a little bit, yeah.
My dream is Joe Weller versus KSI. Who would win? I think Joe Weller would spark KSI.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I thought
A celebrity boxing match.
I don't know.
So, like, celebrities, not just...
A YouTube boxing match. I reckon
YouTube,
Joe,
I mean,
Joe Weller's very much
That
up
is
there.
a thing, right?
Yeah.
This is happening.
Oh, it's happening now.
Joe, when you meet him, has got bigger hands than you expect him to have.
Yeah.
And he's ripped.
He's a very athletic kid.
It's not even that he's ripped. I think it's the hand that punches you as much as the arm that follows.
Have you been reading up on things?
No.
Are you repeating that?
You sound like an expert.
It does sound good though when you say it, doesn't
No.
it?
It does sound, Lawrence, you sound great.
Floyd's getting interviewed right now. Nice little tracksuit on, black and gold.
Yeah. How many costume changes do these guys do before they go to the...
That is a real
ring?
thing. I literally have been wearing the same thing for the last 3 days. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, to be fair, that is true.
But yeah.
There he is. He's just having a great night. This is just a guy who's trying to go out.
He's making 100 million.
Yeah, but he's going to get knocked out, mate.
I hope so, but I don't know.
Whereas Conor McGregor is sat back as if he's about to do some sort of Time magazine shoot.
Is he going to get his hands wrapped while he's wearing that shirt? 'Cause I think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, he does look like he's about to have a manicure pedicure, doesn't he?
McGregor looks like a boss there, to be fair, doesn't he?
Do you know what I really liked about his style? Was when everybody else started copying him wearing suits in the UFC, he went wearing flip-flop shorts and a Hawaiian shirt.
He's like, they all want to be like me, they all want to talk like me.
Do you reckon McGregor, one thing that's maybe interesting about him is he has transcended fighting. Round 4's just started, by the way, in the fight. He has transcended the sport, and he has influenced stuff like fashion and, you know, the way that people talk, those sort of things. That's quite important, isn't it?
His voice has changed as well.
Mine or
no, his,
McGregor's?
not yours.
Yeah.
From when he first came, he spoke really
Do you think
fast.
he's toned it down a little bit? We've got 70,000 people watching us live now. Fucking actual fuck.
We're only 5 off Old Trafford, lads.
Hello, Sky. Sky, what
are you doing? Fucking half 3 in the morning.
What are they saying?
Write this down. We need to make a new show next season.
Write this down and put it in Dan Hardy's ear.
Yeah. Oh, poor Dan
True Jordan
Hardy.
guess, if McGregor wins, what steps do you think he will take going forward?
I think he's going to blow it on a cocaine and hooker binge. Because that's exactly what you're supposed to do when you just do this.
Well, we're not advocating.
Those are not the views of Coral, we're just going to say.
To be honest, if I'm telling you that, then you know he's probably said something wrong. So, when I'm worrying about what someone's saying, then you know it's gone to
Allegedly, all right, allegedly. His missus stood up in it.
He likes a good time, though, McGregor. What annoys me, I've noticed that there's a girl I follow on Instagram, Iskra Lawrence, shout out, and
stop talking about her.
He's I've been warned not to talk about her, but he likes her.
The bird that you're always talking about.
Yes, always.
Oh my God! Again.
Sorry,
Iskra, 70,000 people. She may be in there. If you're watching, DMs. He's always liking our photos. I'm like, you bastard. But like, fair play to him.
Who is Conor?
Yeah, he can get away with it.
Always liking her photos.
We've lost our little stream there. But if you subscribe, everyone, thank you, and like the video.
I don't know if he's going back to MMA. When they're going to offer him $1.5 million to fight some absolute killers like Tony Ferguson
or Khabib.
Stop it.
They're the two who wait for him, probably.
How about I go and fight Palladji for 50 mil?
Lee? The other lad.
Yeah, the one who's fighting, Kevin Lee, who's fighting Ferguson, yeah. You don't want none of Tony Ferguson. You don't want none of Khabib.
Tony Ferguson, though, I think he can beat Tony Ferguson. He's just a horrible fight, isn't he? It's not like going against big, fat, Paulie Malignaggi, who's like he's
and he'd probably get, if this goes the distance, and I think the best result for everybody involved is if it goes a distance. Because all the shit that they've spoke, I think, at the end of it, Mayweather gets on the mic and he goes, oh, do you know what, I underestimated this guy, but he's got the heart of a lion, he fought really well, he took me to the distance.
Yes.
And McGregor gets on the mic and he goes,
tapped up,
oh, I've just took you best of all time, the distance, and I think that's the best circumstance for all of them. Then Malignaggi gets on the mic, chats a lot of shit, and then boom, he's got another 20-30 million.
In round 4, Cleverly's getting tapped up.
Cleverly's really getting the crap kicked out of him, lads. He's bloodied. And he's he got a right-left hook there. And that's the end of the round. Do you think he's going to make it through the next round, lads?
What, we're in this is the 5th?
We're in the 4th. End of the 4th.
I think he'll make it.
No, he's getting beaten up.
His face is mashed up.
What I don't understand is when he was getting hit without reply from virtually the first bell. Like, why don't you answer back, mate? Go for it. But when someone's hitting you that hard, I guess you just think, look after me face.
See what this land's
Everyone's got a plan.
Exactly.
Punch to the face.
That poor lad.
Right over the top.
Got his face there.
We filled Old Trafford.
Yeah?
75,000.
Did he?
Yeah, we filled Old Trafford.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
That is actually quite an achievement.
Can we get 100k? The fight's not even on. It's going to jump when the fight starts.
Yeah, when the fight comes on, geez.
We're going to get 100k.
Filling Old Trafford now, Stephen House.
I really hope Cleverly can ride this out.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, Tony.
To be honest, he's wanting to bet more money. I've literally got nothing left now. Until after the fight, it could go in.
I'll spot you if you want. Harry's money's doing well. Getting 70k people at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. Wow.
I'm really glad I got up for this because I did nearly sleep in, to be honest.
Can we get Jordy over 500k? He said he'll go beardless.
On the subs, yeah.
500k subs would be good.
Get subscribing.
All right, are we underway now? Yeah, we are.
I think we're around 5 now.
5th round.
There we go.
Yeah, that one's behind.
Cleverly's bleeding badly, but he's going in to try and land now.
80,000 people are watching now.
Jackson loaded, mate.
Come on, Cleverly. Come on! Oh, he's getting hit.
This isn't going to last long.
Come on, he's still going for it though, to be fair. He's not going down without a fight.
He's got his belt to think of.
Is he going back to MMA after this?
He can kiss that belt goodbye, was he? Do you reckon?
Do you reckon the result affects whether he goes back or not?
I think he does.
He's taking so many hits to the head here. Look at him. He's now he's on the back foot. This is.
He's really putting in the combinations now. We're going to have to stop.
Wow.
He's going to drop him soon.
He's getting
wow, he's getting absolutely pummeled in the head. Wow, he's taking shots to the face. A lot of shots to the face. This is great boxing.
Come on, son. Come on.
Hugh, what would you say about this as a fight overall? This is brutal.
One-sided.
This is
so
got one
one-sided.
guy literally trying to pick him apart. He's waiting for that moment where he can land that clean knockout punch. And then you got survival mode. He's clinging on for dear life to that belt. This is your last moment of being on top, big man.
And a lot of people, do you think he's...
Oh, he's still landing cleverly. Cleverly is still landing. He could change the game now with one good shot.
Top class fighter, but Badu Jack's a bad man. And that's the top and bottom of it.
It's in the name. You can literally... Anyone called Badu, I don't want to fight them.
As someone who doesn't watch boxing a lot, why isn't he defending his face more?
He is moving his head as much as possible. He's got
probably
his gloves
digging,
out.
he might be digging the ribs because he is holding his guard quite low, so he might be protecting something that's hurting more.
Right, okay, fair enough.
Oh, he's answering. He's answering. Come on.
Badu Jack does sound like a comic book character, though.
He sounds like the next like Rocky opponent, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Badu
Jack.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know the new Rocky that Ivan Drago's involved?
Oh my God! Literally,
Lundgren's coming back.
I love Sylvester Stallone, but how mate?
He's getting worked.
I love the animated corpse.
It's over.
Wow, there we go.
Stop it.
Badu gets it in the end. There he is in the corner of the ring.